believe I am live. Just want to make sure the sound's coming through. Oh, it's coming through. It's coming through. Yes, I am live. So, with that being said, welcome in everyone. Cheers to another Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour. I am your host, the Crypto Bull God. I am coming to you here from the tundra. Feels like the tundra right now. Feels like I am in an igloo. That's how it honestly feels. No, I'm not in Antarctica, but I am in another location where the temperatures are approximately 35 degrees inside this house. This air conditioning has not stopped going. So, for those of you who follow me on Instagram at Crypto Bull God, I had a couple posts out there. You should know I'm in South Carolina, doing a little bit of traveling, some unexpected traveling. So the Crypto Bull Goddess's family member, Abuela is in the hospital unexpectedly. So everybody's pulling together. It's nice. I will say, I mean, her family has been pulling together to help out and stay with her every night. She hasn't had a single night where she's been by herself. The Crypto Bull Goddess has been in the hospital room with her since Sunday. Stayed every night. Extremely admirable and compassionate. So when I told her today, I was trying to work out the specifics in terms of where I was going to be doing this live broadcast, the live stream. She she's juggling a lot. She's managing a lot, doing a lot for her family, and she misheard what I said. And I said to her, hey, do you think I can do it in the room here that I'm in? And will that be an issue at all? I'm not sure when your grandmother's getting discharged from the hospital, if that's still happening. She said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. There's going to be a lot of doctors coming in and out. She misheard me and thought I wanted to do a live happy hour, by the way, live stream, Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour from her grandmother's nursing room from in the hospital. So I had a good laugh over that. But yeah, the room that I am currently staying in, because she's not here, the room that I am currently staying in is sub-zero temperatures. That's another joke real quick. Is the first night when we stayed here, we came in here, and we're laying in bed, and all of a sudden the air conditioning came on. It was just like, it sounded like an airplane. So we have some jokes in there about choo-choo coming aboard the choo-choo train, or about to get on a plane that's about to take off. This is Captain to Mission Control. Permission to take off. Flight A162. Mission Control clear. But it's a good setup. So, but real quick before we get into everything, just wanted to say salud to Abuela. Abuela es muy fuerte y muy positivo y muy contenta. So her grandmother's doing a lot better. Her family has some decisions to make in terms of some health care that she requires, but she's doing a lot better. She looks well. She's in very good spirits. So good to see her doing well. But thank you for tuning in, everyone who's here. It was hard to find time this week. Like I said, unexpectedly on the road. Currently in South Carolina. But you know what? Rolling with it. Life happens, and gotta do what you gotta do, right? Speaking of needing to do what you gotta do, best part of my day by far. I was in the gym this morning, and generally that is a lot of times the best part of my day. I'm just keeping things real with you. Hey, my hospital bracelet. See, they give you a bracelet to allow you to go upstairs to visit patients. So. Making dinner after this and bringing that over to the Crypto Bull Goddess afterwards. So, best part of my morning this morning, the gym I'm going to, again, if you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow me at Crypto Bull God. I do motivational gym stuff on there. Not only was it a leg day, which is a love hate relationship, but I have not lifted. I have not lifted with iron plates in a long time. That's what I grew up on. Grew up working out in my dad's basement. Started out 3 days a week, but we had old school iron plates, right? And the gym I go to on a regular basis in South Florida, they're rubber plates. I think most gyms you go to, unfortunately, they're not iron plates. And the gym I was lifting at this morning had iron plates, and I was squatting. And when I first entered the gym, I was not feeling it, to be honest. It happens. And but when I heard the clanging of the iron plates when I threw the weight on my back to do back squats, it just got me so amped up, and I was feeling it this morning. So shout out to anybody who makes time in the morning or in the evenings regularly to work out. Drop a comment. By the way, anybody watching who does like to go to the gym and regularly hit the weights in the morning or in the evenings or afternoons, drop a comment, let me know, because that's arguably my biggest passion. I've been doing it consecutively for a very, very long time. So I have a few items that I definitely wanted to get into today. You should see the setup I have right now. I'm making do. You wouldn't believe how the laptop is set up right now. By the way, before we get into some crypto discussion, drop a comment in terms of what you're joining me with for happy hour this evening. I like sour beers, and right now I am drinking this Victory Berry Monkey. They are not endorsing me at all. They're not a sponsor, excuse me, but I mean, not to say I wouldn't love to be a sponsor of theirs. But Victory makes some really good beers. This is their Berry Monkey, and it's a fruited sour triple. 9.5%, but I like sours. I like sours a lot. So I have two beers here. The other one that I'll open eventually is just a sour monkey, just a regular sour monkey. So I like sours. That's what I'm in the mood for. So that's what we're doing this evening. So drop a comment. Let me know if you're an avid weightlifter. Let me know if you're drinking anything this evening. So let's see. Do you think the bottom is in? We're going to get there, my friend. By the way, Peter, thank you for the question. If you follow me on Twitter and you have been watching my YouTube videos, you do know that actually, here, let me pull this up. So on July 7th, I tweeted this out. Most people seem to think we'll get a dead cat bounce, preceded by lower lows towards 10,000. I strongly disagree. Given market sentiment and historical significance, now by historical significance, I mean a lot of the charts that I've covered, behind just how low we are, I am leaning towards the bottom being in. Now, I did retweet this out. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I'd have to dig. But I retweeted this out, like, I want to say 6 days ago, roughly, and I said that I feel further convicted. It was last week. I feel further convicted that the bottom is most likely in. So I feel very confident the bottom. And actually, I think I touched on that in the happy hour last week, Peter. The reason that I felt even more convicted was not just the price stabilization that we've seen, but the reaction to the CPI figures that came out. Typically what has happened in the past couple months is the CPI figures have been higher than expectations. So as you know, there's an expectation in the market when the consumer price index numbers are given out, before they're given out, right? And every time the actuals, okay, what's been reported, has exceeded the expectation, and Bitcoin and the stock market have taken a huge drop, what happened is we came well above the expectation. The expectation was 8.6, or maybe it was 8.8. We came in at 9.1% on the CPI, and what was the market's reaction? It was a head fake. Initially, we went down, and then we popped right back up and had a strong close. And I said, you know what, the market, this is making me feel even more confident that this shit's already baked in. Everybody knows the inflation is going to be real high moving forward. I don't anticipate that the market's going to act as reactionary towards it in the downward direction. But yes, I do feel that while no one can say with 100% certainty, yes, I do feel that most likely the bottom's in. I feel very confident at this point that the bottom is in. So, with that being said, let's actually get into some items that I had tweeted out. So, real quick, if anybody in the chat can let me know, I've never done this before. I want to play a video, and I want you to let me know if you can hear it. If you can, I can kind of summarize. Let me know if everybody can hear this.
What are your thoughts on Saylor claiming Cardano as a security? Well, Mike Saylor is the tone vase of this cycle of.
Can everybody hear that? Um, can anybody comment if you can hear this? Because I'm playing this right now. Real quick, I don't want to waste everybody's
him and
time
Jimmy
if you can't hear
Song,
this.
this cycle of crypto. So back in the day, we had Tone, and Tone was this podcast. He's still around, and I like Tone, but he had this thing. It's like everything's a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. Oh, it's a scam. Oh my god.
Guys, this is like a meeting at work where nobody's on camera, and I don't know if people are falling asleep or people are. Yes, you can hear. You can hear. All right, cool. Let me just play this. All right, awesome. Hey, Kevin, thank you.
God, it's a scam. Everybody's scamming. You even had this thing called the Scammies. It was his awards ceremony, the Scammies. So now we got Mike Saylor. It's like Bitcoin is the way.
Mike Saylor.
Again, it doesn't do anything for real.
I'll comment on him.
I can't build a decentralized power grid. I can't build a centralized telecommunications company. I can't build a centralized compute. I have no identity solution. It's not programmable, so I don't have dApps and DeFi. I can't even issue an asset, so I have no NFTs, right? It's all outside of that. But don't worry, layer 2 protocols that are highly centralized will somehow solve all of this. Great. So that's great. It's the best thing ever, and it's so magical, and who cares about the mining and all this? Everything else is scam, and everything else is security. Nobody controls it. It's completely decentralized, far more than Bitcoin. Has more use and utility. People buy the token not to speculate, which is the only thing they can do with Bitcoin. They buy the token to use it for stuff, I don't know, medical records and whatever the hell else they're doing, because it is real life utility. But that's a security. But the thing that only thing you can do is speculate on is not. I think Mike's head is all fucked up and screwed up. It's just one of those cases where he's dick deep, full dick in with Bitcoin, and so it's got to work. If it doesn't work the way he hopes, he goes bankrupt. So I don't pay much attention to it, and I don't think it's a productive conversation at all. And frankly, the most difficult, toxic, and useless people to engage with are Bitcoin maximalists. They're not intellectually honest.
100%
like Jimmy
agree.
Song saying that at any given time, proof of stake system, somebody can just arbitrarily take all your money and shut it down. It's not honest. It's just libel. It's not true. The protocols don't do that. And they feel they have no burden of proof and evidence of the statements that they make. And then they say the only thing that matters is their thing, even though their thing doesn't do anything. Just stores value. Okay.
All right. So he goes on a rant there, and I got to say, I think he did an awesome job. So I have a couple comments here. First off, I don't typically talk. Well, for those who do follow me on Twitter and YouTube, by the way, if you appreciate the comment, do not forget to hit the like up. What is this, Mario? 1-up? Super Mario. Hit the like button, the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment too. I like interacting with you guys a lot. So, I do share some of the things I'm invested in, but by no means do I share specifics on everything I'm invested in allocate specific portfolio allocations. I am not currently invested in Cardano. In general, I'm not a huge fan of Charles Hoskinson. I think he can come off as a little pompous, a little arrogant. Just not a huge fan of his personality. He could be an awesome guy. He's super smart. I mean, I know, people are complex. I know some people might watch a video of mine and think, they take one look at me and think I might be a jerk or whatnot. So it's nothing personal. I'm just not a big fan of his. But I will say, I think in this case, him speaking to Michael Saylor, if Michael did make a comment about Cardano being a security and the way he responds to it, and what he said about, I appreciated what he said about Tone Vase. Not a big fan of that guy. I really have to be on Charles's side here. I'm not a Michael Saylor fan. Not a Michael Saylor fan. I've listened to him speak a lot. I think he goes off the deep end. He's an extremist. Tone Vase, Michael Saylor, they are maximalists. They are Bitcoin maximalists. And if you have been following me on Twitter for a very long time, you know my old background was XRP and Bitcoin. And that was intentional. There's no way to say that you're a non-maximalist more than to have XRP and Bitcoin right next to each other in the background of your YouTube videos, okay? I'm very familiar. I've done a lot of homework on both technologies, and I'm a fan of both technologies. I think tribalism and maximalism is ignorance, and he is correct. I mean, Saylor is dick deep. He is heavily invested in Bitcoin, so he has to almost defend it, right? It's very, especially for someone with a high degree of intelligence like Michael Saylor, I'm assuming does have to be as successful as he's been. It's extremely disingenuous. It's extremely disingenuous to endorse one form of blockchain or cryptocurrency technology and not recognize that there are tons of other projects out there with different use cases that have nothing to do with competing with Bitcoin, to at least acknowledge that, yeah, these things have real world use cases and I can see the value in this. No, we don't do our homework on those sorts of things. We just automatically shoot everything down as a security and say that Bitcoin is the only way. I have no time for that. So because I know that that's where Saylor stands on the subject, I do not pay any attention to Michael Saylor. I don't. I follow him on Twitter. Now, I follow him, much like what the hell's his name? Why am I forgetting it right now? Pompliano. I follow those guys, even though because they're maximalists, although Pompliano's kind of coming around on Ethereum, maybe from some peer pressure. I follow them because they are influencers in this space, and I do want to have some awareness in terms of what they're communicating to others. But it's not that I respect their view on things. I cannot respect a maximalist view on things. It's tribalism, it's ignorance, and if people who are being maximalists do have a high degree of intelligence, it's just disingenuous. You can be a fan of multiple technologies. So with that being said, this is a good segue. Let's get into a little bit of XRP and Ripple. So this headline came out. For anybody here, I'm curious if anyone listening to me, because I did have a lot of people at one point who were following me, who were in the XRP community. If anybody following me is a fan of Ripple, the technology, what they're looking to do with cross-border payments, with the XRP token, their native token, drop a comment. I'd be curious if there's anybody here from the community. But one of the things that was debated for years is how much of an impact Jed McCaleb's selling and sell pressure had on XRP's price. What's interesting about this, I will say this. Now, he held a large percentage of XRP, but there were designated amounts that he was only allowed to sell within a certain time frame, and I couldn't quote you what it was. I believe it may have been a specified amount per month. So it did put sell pressure on XRP, but I remember reading a lot of other people's opinions in terms of it having such a little amount of pressure on the price of XRP. So the reason I bring this article up is kind of twofold. I'm going to share my opinion, but I find it interesting that the same people, I see some of the same people who said this had no impact on the price, are now elated with joy that this guy's wallet is empty and he can't sell anymore. Very interesting if perhaps some of these people have a biased opinion. My own personal opinion is that I do not feel that his selling had a monumental amount of pressure on the price, but I will say this. Anytime somebody holds a significant amount, even if it's at a predetermined time, they can dump a lot of the coins and sell it. It is going to have an impact on the price. So from my perspective, it is good to see that his wallet is empty, and at least we won't see any that can't be an argument for pressure on the price moving forward. So I definitely view it as a positive. The other thing I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about here was I haven't really spent any time talking about Ripple in a long time. And that is because I'm just waiting, like every other investor in XRP is, for the litigation to end, right? This, we knew going into it, those that did their homework knew this was not going to be anything that was going to be resolved within 6 months or even a year, right? We're heading into 2 years here at the end of the year. So, a couple things I wanted to hit on here. First off, 100 million. I don't know about any Harmonauts out there, but I didn't need to see 100 million because I automatically thought of what happened with Harmony's Bridge. But Ripple has spent over 100 million, right? So this really goes to show you how much of a war chest they have in fighting the SEC. Um, Even if you're not a fan of Ripple, even if you're not a fan of XRP, you better hope that Ripple wins this case. It certainly looks like it's headed in the right direction, and it certainly looks like Ripple is going to win the case, um, based on everything that I've been seeing. Um, but there's a couple things I want to hit on with this. First off, I'm on record as saying I felt the whole lawsuit was a bunch of garbaggio, okay, a bunch of garbage. The SEC, it's doing a very poor job of picking winners and losers. It is selectively picking who it wants to attack. Instead of governmental officials being proactive and coming out with regulation that is easily understood and interpreted by the cryptocurrency community, okay, digital asset community, unfortunately, the United States is lagging in regulation, and that lagging in regulation has introduced ambiguity. And that ambiguity makes it very difficult to know what line you're crossing. Organizations like Ripple have been advocates for regulation. The United States government has been slow in adopting regulation. And so this has been a huge challenge for the industry, and the government has really been dragging their feet. And anyone who's invested in this space better hope that Ripple wins this case, so that it deters the SEC from selectively going after additional participants. It will look bad for the SEC if they lose this case. The other thing I want to speak to with this, okay? Don't get my words confused here. Really listen to what I'm saying. I have spent a lot of time researching what Ripple is doing, the actual technology of XRP, and like I said, I've been a big proponent for a while. Nothing about that has changed. I'm a realist, though, and there's one thing that no one has discussed that'll be interesting to see how it plays out for Ripple itself, the company. Everyone has been saying, everyone who is a fan of Ripple has been saying, really got to tilt back with these headphones, it's awkward. Everyone who's a fan has been saying, when Ripple wins this case, or if they win the case, the token is going to skyrocket. Let me share with you my honest opinions on that. I think that event, I'm not saying that it won't result in a temporary mass appreciation in the value for XRP, but I think it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event. You have to keep in mind that any time, the word is reputation, okay? This lawsuit, in my opinion, has damaged the reputation of Ripple, the organization. Let's just say, hypothetically, okay, that Ripple comes out of this and they win the lawsuit. Their name is still tarnished a bit. They still went through a 2-year or 2-year plus legal battle with the SEC over the potential tokenization of an asset they're associated with. That doesn't look good for the company. And there were a lot of things, if you go back, and I need to refresh my own memory, there were a lot of things brought up in the lawsuit that did not look good for Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse. Look, I'm a Brad Garlinghouse fan. I like the guy. I've tweeted at him so many times. Brad, you've never followed me. I am very hurt. Okay, you've never followed me. But I am a fan of Brad. I think he represents the company very well. He's a really intelligent guy, well-spoken. He explains himself well. He's got a good personality. But there were some things in there that were a little eye-raising. And I think that sort of mark on the company is going to, at least temporarily, even if it is temporarily, is going to hinder their ability to onboarding future clients. And so we have to consider that when we say, well, when they win the lawsuit, it's a go. It's not a security. Everybody's going to mass adopt it. XRP is shooting up to 589. I know that's a joke at this point. We really have to be realistic and temper expectations. I think it'll be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I think there will be a temporary spike in price. But we really have to see how things play out in terms of adoption, given that their name has somewhat, their reputation has somewhat come into question, even if they win the lawsuit. We have to be realistic. Again, this is a Ripple XRP advocate. This is a person who sees the cross-border issue and sees XRP as a very viable solution for it. I've been a huge proponent of the technology, okay? But I'm just being very realistic. So just keep that in mind moving forward. If anybody has any differing thoughts or similar thoughts, I'd be curious to hear them in the chat here. Actually, let's get to the chat because I haven't been monitoring the chat here. All right, let's get to the first one. Any thoughts on why Elon Musk sold his Bitcoin? I'm not aware of Elon Musk selling his Bitcoin. In fact, I'm opening up my last drink of the evening. Has anyone commented on what they're drinking? I do see a few frequent names here from the past. It's good to see some familiar faces. Thank you for returning. What's everyone drinking? I don't see anybody commenting on what they're drinking. This is a happy hour, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I don't think there's any ladies here, but gentlemen, this is a happy hour, so have yourself a beverage. This is my last drink of the evening. This is a Victory Sour Monkey triple, sour triple. I like both. I will say, now that I've had the berry, I think I prefer the berry, but they're both good. So good well, I feel like I'm conditioned at work. Good question. Thank you for that question. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'll get back to you after the call. So, any thoughts on why Elon Musk sold his Bitcoin? Thank you for the question, Peter. I'm not aware of him selling his Bitcoin. The last I heard, actually, he made a comment. This AC is still running. I don't know if you can see, but my fingers are turning blue. Not quite sure if you can see that. Jesus. I never get cold. I'm just saying, I never get cold. I'm always warm. So, it's got to be pretty freaking cold in here. The last I saw is that he said he was not planning on selling his Bitcoin in Doge. So, if you can, shoot me a DM on Twitter and point me to the article that speaks to that, please, because I'd be curious to read up on it. So sorry I can't be any help there. Oh, Kevin, I should have read on. Kevin said Elon said they needed cash flow and is open to buying it back. Interesting. Peter or Kevin, can you message me and let me know? I mean, look, the economy's rough out there right now. There's no getting around it. There's layoffs, especially in the technology sector, which he's in. So it's quite possible, based on what you guys are saying, that he sold off a portion of his Bitcoin because he held a large amount of it, and it went lower than he thought. Look, it went lower than I thought. We're going to get into that in a minute. But, yeah, I guess that is possible, so shoot me a note. Okay, Steven, you're talking to XRP. Great, because we were just covering that. So XRP has not been recognized enough for the strength it has shown to stay in the top 10. Hey, in the top 10 with an active case ongoing. Look, I agree. Hey, I completely agree. I tweeted out at one point recently, I said, because XRP is one of those tokens that you either love it or hate it. There really is no in between. Well, with some people, I guess they're sort of neutral on it, but most people either love it or hate it. I'm a huge proponent, but to your point, I tweeted that out actually, I don't know, a couple months ago, that say what you will about XRP, but it has remained in the top 10 for a very long time. Okay, even with this lawsuit going on, so I completely agree with you, and that does demonstrate strength. You would think with a lawsuit like that incoming, that it would have taken a larger hit and maybe fallen out of the top 10, but it has not happened. Now, its ranking within the top 10 has dwindled. I think it's gone as low as 7. I don't think it's hit 8, but I think it's gone as low as 7. But you also have to account, let's be real here for a second. You also have to account for the fact that within this top 10, let's take a look at this real quick. In the top 10, you have Tether, USD Coin, and Binance US. So if you take those three out, it's really the fourth largest cryptocurrency project, because it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, and then XRP. Now, XRP is very close in market capitalization to Cardano. They keep flipping. Solana is going to make a strong push, I think, to get higher. I think Dogecoin is what it is. You know, Polkadot, I need to do some more research on Polkadot. I'm not as familiar with Polkadot as I probably should be. But I'll tell you one project that I tweeted out today that would it would actually surprise me if it wasn't in the top 10 at some point before the end of the year, and that's Polygon Matic. So we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. But yeah, XRP has held its market capitalization top 10 for a very long time, so that does speak to it. Real quick, we're going to get into some charts, and this kind of touches on the economy a little bit, but kind of where we're at, and I'll share my thoughts. But the reason this article interested me is because my first trading account, well, actually I had a Scottrade account, but I do still have an Interactive Brokers account. Used to be into buying and selling stocks a lot more before I got into crypto. My account has been dormant for a long time. At some point I'll open it back up again and get back in. But I don't buy and sell stocks. Yeah, I don't buy and sell crypto. Here I am, the crypto bull god. I do not buy and sell crypto. Yeah, I just buy and sell crypto. I don't trade stocks at all. So this article was interesting, and the reason it's interesting is, look at the title. He plans to buy Bitcoin despite concerns it could become worthless or outlawed. This is one of those articles where you kind of raise an eyebrow and don't really know what to make of it. He owns Bitcoin. So this dude is the CEO. He's the founder of Interactive Brokers, right? And he plans to buy more Bitcoin if it hits 12,000. But he maintains that it could become worthless or outlawed. So I'm kind of scratching my head looking at this. Well, first off, my view is Bitcoin's not getting to 12,000. So then I asked the question, is he really waiting to 12,000 to buy more? Or is that just sort of being a little bit disingenuous because he's actually buying some? Yeah, then he says chances are it'll be very worthless. If he feels the chances are very high, again, he's not saying that the chances are there and it's a possibility. He's saying the chances are very high that Bitcoin will become worthless or outlawed. Why would you own any and concern yourself or think about buying any more? It doesn't. I mean, to me, that doesn't make any sense. But this is really interesting, and it gets into a lot of concerns that people have about the economy moving forward. So he thinks that inflationary pressures will continue for years and not months, and it's not a short-term issue. It's very possible. I mean, his statements could be dead-on accurate, to be honest, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people have been coming at me and coming at other people on Twitter or on YouTube, and what they've been saying is essentially this time is different. The economy is is headed in a massive recession. You have everything going on with Russia and oil and inflation, and it's a fucking mess. It's a mess. And CBG, his fellow crypto maniacs, even the crypto bull goddess, and others who are still bullish on the market and feel like we're entering another euphoric leg going into next year are delusional. I want you to understand that if you weren't here, let me relay the message. Even though the times were different, the scenario was different, and the government came in with happy, funny money, there was a short window of time there, relatively short relative to now, where when the beer virus, not this type of beer, the one that you put the orange in, I can't say the name because YouTube might demonetize me. Yeah, YouTube. But the beer virus, when it hit in March of 2020, everybody thought that the world was ending. Everyone thought people were going to starve to death. People were going out and getting toilet paper. You remember that, right? If you were here. And so it was the worst decision for you to buy cryptocurrencies, you know? Why in a situation like that would you buy a risk-on asset that's so small in size and one of the riskiest places that you could be in, right? Well, if you bought hand over fist, it was one of the best decisions you could make if you held on to it March, April, May. I mean, it was one of the best decisions you could have made. We're in a situation where I've expressed this view before, but I'll reiterate it. Yes, I think moving forward, we are entering a period that is very, first off, uncertain. No one knows. Everybody can project sort of what they think, how things are going to play out. We can look at, leading indicators. We can look at things that project recessions, but nobody knows how bad the recession is going to be or how deep it's going to be, or if it's truly going to result in a Great Depression and not recession. Nobody knows these things. We are entering very uncertain times. Inflation rates are going to levels not seen since before the 70s. And I'm not talking about CPI. You can go to Shadow Statistics, that website, Shadow Statistics, and look at, as an actuary, I appreciate this because what we typically do is when we're looking at things, we normalize it. We look at calculations today versus yesterday, years ago, and we put it on the same rating basis to look at things in an equal terms, apples to apples. Well, if you go to Shadow Statistics and you look at CPI on an apples-to-apples basis, because the method of calculating CPI has changed over the years, and you say, okay, if today's inflation rate was calculated the same as yesterday, back in like the early 80s or 70s, it's really twice as high as what it is. It's really closer to 18%. It's not 9%, it's 18%. So I challenge you, do things around you feel like they're going up by on average 9% or 18%? Because I can tell you, even as a person, and I've shared this before, and I don't say this to toot my own horn, I say this to drive the point home. Even as someone who is financially disciplined, is in a niche field, and lives financially comfortable, like I'm very comfortable, I don't stress bills, okay? I'm feeling inflation. Everything's going up around me like 20%. I'm like, why the hell is everything going up like 25%? I shared the story last week about the Crypto Bull Goddess's AC unit going, not the unit, but a part on it that cost $2,500 only mere months ago, and now it's $4,100. From 25 to 41. That's not 9%. That's more like more than 50%. So, yeah, so where was I going with that on a tangent? But where I'm going with that is, although we're entering uncertain times, what I would share with everyone, hey, for everybody joining, thank you everyone for, I see I have a few new viewers in here, so drop a comment below, let me know what you're drinking, hit the like button, yeah, subscribe to the channel, and drop any TA questions that you have in there, because I'm going to be charting eventually. But, damn, these sours are good. I miss golfing. I miss golfing with these. But anyway, even though we're entering uncertain times, the way I simplify my life, I have said this to you since day one. I look at a chart and it tells me a story. Okay, I can't account for black swan events. Black swan events happen. Let me show you a black swan event. This is a black swan event. This was the beer virus. We opened this 10-day candlestick at 7,856. The China virus, as one former president said, resulted in the price dropping from approximately, call it 7,900, all the way down to nearly under $3,900, retesting levels not seen close since our bottoming candlestick in early 2018. Okay, those type of events do happen, and no one can predict that. But what we can do, okay, because human emotion is built into these charts, what we can do is we can use this historical data to draw meaningful conclusions, recommendations, and probabilistic statements. I don't know how many other word choices I can use. But I'm a data person. I'm a data person, and I feel like I can use all of this to tell me, I can use all of this to have it tell me a story in terms of what's been going on and what will most likely happen next. Okay, and it's not always going to be right. I've spoken to that. Patterns don't always work out. Price data doesn't always work out the way you anticipate based on what you're looking at. But that's the best thing. If we're not using this to tell us what is coming up next, then it's like looking at this. Okay, if we're not using price data and we're just saying the economy's headed into a recession, tell me where the market's going, this is what I'm looking at. Nothing. Okay? I have nothing to draw a conclusion based off of. I need candlesticks. I need prior price data. I need current price data to tell me what I'm looking at. That's how I look at it. All right? So what I would say is, What I would say is this. Let's actually, since I spoke to it on that level, let me actually look at this chart with you, okay? This is a weekly view on Bitcoin. This is a weekly view. There's a couple familiar faces I'm not seeing in the chat this week. I hope that you're with me. I won't mention names, but there's actually a couple people. Anyone drinking a old fashioned? I'm honestly in the mood for an old fashioned, but I'm not in a location right now where I can have an old fashioned. That's what I would have preferred is an old fashioned. But anyone having an old fashioned? So I have a couple vertical lines drawn here. So you see these light yellow lines right here? This is the top of a parabolic movement. And then the light orange lines, okay, is where we bottomed and is indicating a bottoming of that parabolic price movement. Now, I want you to keep in mind this price action here, okay? This price action here was our parabolic price movement going into the end of 2017 and the beginning of 2018. We then had a very substantial correction down, an ABC correction down, all the way to our 200-week moving average. There's a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people out there arguing a couple things. One, we're entering a time that is similar to this, and I'm going to speak to that. And two, I've spoken to the fact that while I'm not an Elliott wave technician, and it's something on my plate to learn more about, I know enough about it, and I do rely on the expertise of a few other people and what they're pointing out that I've spoken to in the past to feel very comfortable that what we have here is an Elliott wave structure that has formed but not completed. We have a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, and a wave 4. Now, what's happening is, and we're still waiting, for our wave 5, okay? So, what's happening is a couple things. People, first off, let's just take a step back and look at the macro perspective, because a lot of people, to my earlier tweet, this is the 200 simple moving average shown on the weekly chart, by the way. A lot of people get emotional based on just how much the market has corrected. So let's actually see if this correction is nothing to be super frightened about relative to a historical context, okay? The first thing I would say is that we're hovering right around the 200 simple moving average, 200 weekly simple moving average, right? Well, we did it here, okay, back in March 20 when we had the beer virus crash. We actually went substantially more below it than we have now. And we did do it at the end of our ABC correction in early 2018 and 2019. So we're at levels where we've seen some, historical corrections land at, which is a good sign. We're kind of gravitating in this area here, which is good to see. The next thing that I would share with you is that when looking at this chart, the question that we need to ask ourselves when we're zooming out on a macro perspective, again, keeping in mind I'm utilizing this data point moving forward, okay? Because this was a true bear market. This price action, keep in mind, when we corrected from late 2017, we corrected all the way down here. We did not exceed this price level at 20,000 all the way until out here in 2020. Let's actually take a look at that. We did not exceed this all-time high. I mean, it was more than like 2 years. I don't know how long it was. Yeah, look at that. Like December 20. So, Jesus, that was like 3 years. So it took us like 3 years to exceed our prior all-time high, right? So this was a massive ABC correction. And since then, what we've begun to do is we've begun to build bullish structure with higher highs and higher lows. Let me show you what I mean by that. Off of this low, what happened? We created a high. Then we created a low. This was scary times. I was buying the shit out of stuff and tweeting about it, so I'm on record. You can go back and look at my historical tweets. Guess what we then did? Parabolic run, which really started right around here. Parabolic run up, created a higher high. Something I learned more about, expanding flat correction, and have since come down and created a higher low. So right now, we have two higher highs and two higher lows. A high and a higher high. A low and a higher low. This has not come down and invalidated this low right here. Has it? Has it not? Just because this correction, okay, let's just keep things real. This 28, roughly, this $28,000 mark here, I did not think when we got up here that we would come down and breach this level. I did not think that was going to happen. Okay, but we did. So just because we did something that I didn't anticipate or others didn't anticipate, we have to be very steadfast in being unemotional and logical and just evaluate kind of what's going on. So what I did is I started seeing people talking about what is known as a expanded flat correction. Because keep in mind, up until this point, I was seeing an Elliott wave. And then I saw this happen, right? And we came up to 69,000 and I thought, what the hell's going on? This high is higher than this high. Some people, excuse me, some people were arguing, oh, well, you know, yeah, this was wave 3 and then we had a wave 4 here and this is wave 5. Are you kidding me? Look at how small this correction is. You think this was a wave 4 correction in Elliott wave and then we just came up 5% higher than here and this was a wave 5? It makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Look at how long this correction took from wave 1 all the way to wave 2 and how deep it went, okay? This correction, first off, on a time horizon basis, this correction took 259 days. This correction, people are arguing, okay, if this was Elliott wave, we topped here and we corrected in like, this is the bottom candle, 63, 70 days. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. And if you look at the level of correction that took place, this is the other thing I want to speak to. Ladies and gentlemen, are there any ladies here? Because I don't see any. We corrected about 72%. So people are arguing this wave 4 correction, this was 55%. So it was that much less than the 71% correction. And it doesn't answer the question in terms of why this wave 5 is so light relative to the wave 3 only going 5% higher. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, if you look at this level of correction, if this really was our wave 3 top, look at how this corrected. 72%, which is very close to the 71% that was down in our wave 2 correction. All right, I got a lady on Holly. Thank you. She's here. Cheers to you. What are you drinking? What are you drinking this evening, Holly? I'll wait for a response and make it awkward. I'm not going to talk until you share what you're drinking. Could be water. I'm fine with a response of water, although might want to be a little bit more adventurous. But what you got going on? All right. Nah. Let's keep things rolling. There's a little bit of a lag anyway. So, but anyway, so it does not make sense based on the percentage that this corrected here and the time it took to correct here. This would be a wave 4. Plus, this went higher. People are arguing this is wave 5. So what I began to research, people started basically, there were a couple people that I respect who tweeted about an expanded flat correction. So then I started doing my own homework on what an expanded flat correction is. What happens in an expanded flat correction is you actually have a corrective wave structure. In every Elliott wave correction, it's an ABC. Okay? For those that aren't familiar. So when you top out, there's an A, okay, you hit a low, a high, and then a low before it corrects. And then you start going up in 5 waves, okay, to your final top, okay? I think that was more than 5 waves. I'm doing this on the spot, but you get the point. So in an expanded flat, what actually happens is this B wave right here, this B actually goes above the top of wave 3, okay? So there's 2 schools of thought here, okay, depending on how you're looking at things. Sweet tea. All right, sweet tea. Yeah, you could put a little Tito's in the sweet tea. Spice it up a little bit. But sweet tea's good though. I've had sweet tea. Um, I'd stick a little Tito's in there. So make it a little more adventurous this evening. So there's two schools of thought. Now, I'm just going to lay it out to you in terms of what people are thinking. If you think that we are truly entering a massive bear market, okay, and we're not going to see new all-time highs for several years, you're looking at something like this, okay? And we're not going to breach this all-time high for, like, I just spoke to this, for like 3 years. So that extends us all the way out until like 2024 and 25. I mean, I can't even extend it out that far. If you're in that camp, go for it. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that we had our parabolic movement up, and back in 2017, we had our parabolic move up. We had an A, B, C correction. We then followed it up with wave 1, parabolic move, massive correction. Again, anytime something moves up in a parabolic nature, it's going to result in a massive correction. I spoke to the example where you're climbing a tree, and if you fall and there's no tree branches on the tree, there's nothing to hold on to, you're going to fall. Versus if you're building stair steps and higher highs and higher lows and it's not parabolic, if you fall off the tree, you have branches to grab onto, right? So when things go parabolic like this, they're going to correct. And welcome to crypto, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a volatile market as well. So 70+% corrections in Bitcoin, 90% corrections even in a bull market is very it happens in crypto, just given how naive we are in the market and how immature it is. So we had this move up, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and what I'm saying is this is expanded flat correction. Keep in mind as well, okay, keep in mind, I've spoken to this chart. Check this out. Someone tweeted on this that I follow, and I just commented before I joined the live stream. Be cool if he was actually on here. This is looking at the Mayer multiple. Now, there's really no hard science behind this. It's literally just a calculation of looking at the price over the 200 SMA on the weekly here. And what this is telling us, let's just zoom in on the Mayer multiple here. Every time we've been in this green zone, look what happens. We bounce, right? The green arrow. We come down here in late 2018 during that ABC correction. We bounce, get a massive run up. 2020, beer virus. We bounce, we touch this green zone, and we go up. Look what just happened. We entered the green zone. The other thing I would share with you that I'm pointing out here, look at this descending line of resistance. Touch, touchy, 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 no touchy, touchy. Well, this is where I meant to say touchy, touchy, breaky, breaky. So it touched in these 3 spots here, but it actually has broken the descending line of resistance, meaning, what does this mean in layman's terms? What it means is that the price relative to the 200 simple moving average was facing resistance. The calculation, that ratio, was declining in value. It was declining in value, and every time it tried to go up in value, it hit a descending line of resistance. We just broke that, right? We just broke that, and just like any other chart, this is a calculation. I wouldn't be surprised if we came up here, kind of came back down, and then started going back up in higher highs and higher lows. It's just like a price chart. Same thing. Just like a price chart. Just like a voice change. See, these are the things you missed when I did the podcast and I wasn't live streaming and you could see me. Because now you can see me when I have a voice change. How exciting. Hey, if you appreciate the comment, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the little bell icon. Ding, ding. Subscribe to the channel and drop a comment. What are we drinking this evening? And what questions do you have on charts? Because we're going to be getting to some TA Q&A very shortly. So, this is another chart showing you that every single time the price has gotten very low in relation to the 200 weekly moving average on the Bitcoin chart, we have bounced significantly. If you have kindergarten skills, you can see the orange circles followed by the green line. And again, based on what I just shared with you, my basic premise is we're seeing something similar that's going to play out like we saw here. Okay, we're still waiting for that wave 5. Recession's going to do what the recession's going to do. It doesn't mean that we can't have a temporary uptick in the stock market because the S&P is correlated, positively correlated with Bitcoin. They're not decoupled. It doesn't mean, and I've said this before, it doesn't mean that underlying things in the economy aren't boiling and festering, and there aren't leading indicators to tell us shit's going to get real maybe next year or 2024, and we're going to be in a pretty bad recession for a couple years. It doesn't mean that even though that stuff's going on, we can't get a temporary pop in prices, okay? Maybe the government, maybe the Federal Reserve lays its foot. You can. Here's the thing. You can come up with whatever narrative you want. Maybe the Federal Reserve lays its foot off the pedal with raising interest rates by the end of the year. They were super aggressive for the majority of the year. They start laying off. They start going into quantitative easing again, right? Not quantitative tightening, quantitative easing, okay? Because they recognize the stock market and the economy is not doing well and unemployment is ticking up, okay? Maybe we get some temporary relief from that. Paint whatever narrative you want. What I'm trying to share with you is there's too much in the charts. There's too much data that I'm looking at that says we're due for a huge bounce. Also keep in mind, not saying it can't happen, it would just be unprecedented. Based on limited, but historical price data that we have on Bitcoin. Just looking at this 200 weekly, I thought I had a cleaner chart than this. Yeah, this clean chart here. Keep in mind, people are calling for Bitcoin to go down in this... Oh my God, all the way down here? Jesus Christ. People are calling for Bitcoin to go all the way down here. Okay? Look at the percentage that would be off from the 200 weekly moving average. I'm not saying it can't happen. You're talking about Bitcoin going down 50-60% on the weekly, below the 200 weekly moving average on the below the 200 weekly moving average, going 50 to 60% below that. Not saying it can't happen, but it's never done that before. And again, just expanding upon the 5 wave movements and the ABC flat correction and the Mayer multiple, there's just too much price data, removing the noise of what's going on in the economy. Yes, I know we're uncertain times. Yes, I know a lot of things are different than now. But again, I'm a data scientist, so I'm just looking at the data here. The other thing I want to take a look at with you is, this is a really interesting chart. I haven't seen anyone tweet about this or share it. This is something that I shared on Twitter. This is a 10-day chart. So every candlestick represents 10 days worth of price action. I see 15 people here. There better be at least 15 likes. If you're new to joining, thank you. Drop a comment. Let me know what you're drinking. Let me know what questions you have on technical analysis, and I can help to address them, crypto specific. And subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon. All right. So this is a 10-day. Now, what I'm doing here, let's take off the 50-day simple moving average. I'm showing the 10-day, the 200 weekly moving average. What's interesting, again, limited price data. So this 200 weekly moving average on the 10-day chart only goes back until December of 2016, late 2016, here in December. But in March of 2020, the old beer virus, we tapped the line and moved up. Look what just happened. Only for the second time, we tapped the line. Will we continue moving up? That is the question. But we've only tapped that line twice, so it's something else to watch for. It was just something I spent a little time digging into. The other chart, I think this is the last. No, there's 2 more Bitcoin charts I wanted to take a look at. We'll kind of touch on a few altcoins. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. I put a quick video out because I forgot to discuss this during the last Bitcoin crypto happy hour. But this is a very evident. Look at this. This is a very evident beer. Wow, beer is on my mind. This is a very evident beer flag. This is a very evident bear flag. Here is the pole. Here is the pennant. But look, we came up. We invalidated the pennant. But oh, look, we re-entered it. This happens in formations. There are times where a formation shows up, and there's three possibilities, okay? One, the formation plays out, which is the most likely. Two, the formation does not play out, and it is invalidated, and something else happens, which is what we at the time thought when this broke out. Or three, there's a head fake. And we invalidate the formation temporarily, but guess what? We re-enter it. We got below this descending line again. So what I'm saying, and what I've been saying on Twitter is, there's a whole hell of a lot of people who are bearish right now. Just like when we were up here. This is the last thing I forgot to comment on this chart. But I guess I should hit on one more thing on this chart I forgot to speak to. Totally forgot to hit on this. I want to make sure I hit on it. Just like we were up here, okay, and everybody was euphoric, okay? Now that we're down here, everyone, you've seen Crypto Capo, or whatever the hell his name is. Oh, this is some nice price action, and it's gone higher than I thought, but still doesn't change my mind in terms of where the... Yeah, people won't do their own research. They won't do this type of homework and analytical work. What they'll do is they'll see somebody with 400,000 followers tweeting shit out like that, and they'll formulate an opinion based on that. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Do your own homework and rely on several different people to formulate your own conclusions. We have re-entered this descending triangle / bear pennant, okay? What I'm saying is, if it does play out, I'm not saying it's going to, but as long as we remain under here, I'm on record as saying is if we get down here in 39 to 40% Bitcoin dominance, I will tell you right now what I see happening. If we re-enter Bitcoin dominance at 39 to 40%, my opinion is that this formation will play out. Bitcoin dominance will bleed down. But what does that actually mean? A lot of people get confused with this. What it means is what we saw here. What we saw right here. During this time, Bitcoin dominance bled. And during that time period, what happened is Bitcoin was increasing in value. We went on our parabolic... This is a messy chart. We went on this parabolic run. So Bitcoin was increasing in value, the USD value, but all the altcoins, okay, they represent a smaller market cap. All the little ones, they represent smaller market caps relative to Bitcoin, but they were shooting up like 40, 50%, 30%. Bitcoin's going up 5%, 6%. So their rate of appreciation was outpacing Bitcoin. And because that happened, it gobbled up the market dominance. It gobbled up the market cap. So everything was increasing in value, but the altcoins were increasing that much more relative to Bitcoin. Hence, an alt season. So, if this pattern, if this was really a head fake, and we've re-entered the descending triangle / a bear pennant, then I suspect Bitcoin dominance will bleed all the way down to the low 20s. This could play out well into the first quarter or first half of next year. We'll have a true altcoin season run. We'll see new all-time highs in Bitcoin, and the fifth wave will play out somewhere in here in the first half of 2023. There was one more thing I forgot to hit on. I apologize. On this chart here. Here's the other reason. This is the last reason I have a really hard time believing this was wave 5. Or excuse me. This right here was wave 5. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What do you notice about... Let me ask you a question here, and I will pause and then answer the question. What do you notice about this? And what do you notice about... this? And then does this look similar? Okay? The obvious answer to these questions are abacadabra. That's what you do in a multiple choice exam. If you don't know the answer to something, abacadabra. A-B-A-C-A-D-A-B-A. Okay. These two are parabolas. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lady here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wave 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wave 3. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to not Wave 5. If you recall back in 2020, going into 21, We had a lot of euphoria here. A lot of euphoria. All coins were running hard. NFTs, everything. Layer 1, Layer 2, scaling solutions. There were so many different narratives in here. In here, a lot of altcoins did not make new all-time highs. They kept bleeding. It wasn't. There were just select plays that were running. One in H-bar made new all-time highs, but trying to think. When was this? No, Mana did as well. Holy Crypto Trinity. I mean, how can you not own all three pieces of the Holy Crypto Trinity? But H-bar won in Mana. But this was not euphoria, though. So that's another reason why this makes absolutely no sense that this was a Wave 5 movement. It doesn't hang together. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to expand upon, which I tweeted about, a lot of tokens have shown this price movement. This is a 12-hour chart, and this is an ascending triangle I drew, and a technical target of around 26,000, which we haven't hit yet. The other thing I drew here in this gray line, which is a valid argument, is a broadening wedge here, a broadening channel. And as you can see here, we had, if you wanted to draw that, which is valid, we had a touch here, a touch here. We had a touch here, but we've back tested it. So either way, if you think it's an ascending channel or a broadening wedge or broadening channel, both have broken out, and I have a technical target at around 26,000. Again, this is the 12-hour view on Bitcoin. Ethereum, again, Ethereum. What I would say on Ethereum is it's nice to see price, as many of the alts are, increasing in value the way they have, but look at this descending line of resistance on the RSI. Okay, so we really need to break out of here, back test, and move up for me to feel confident. We also have a descending line of resistance, like on all the altcoins, that we need to break above. We need to get up here, back test. No, I'm not going to draw the picture that I drew from a couple weeks ago. I'm going to watch that. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. So we just have to wait for some of this descending resistance on the price action and the RSI to break to really feel confident. For all those new joining, I'd appreciate a like and dropping a comment on any questions you have on TA. Subscribing to the channel helps the channel out. Look, it is abysmal out there. The engagement on Twitter and YouTube is horrible. My subscribers have been dropping off. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I had like 1940 something, and I've dropped off to like 1897. It's just been dwindling and dwindling. So people are, and it's actually a good sign. If you're an investor, it's a good sign, because what it tells you is the engagement is super low. The masses get it wrong. So if most people are becoming disinterested and salty about material that's put out there, it could be a good sign to take a contrarian view. What's everybody drinking this evening, by the way? I had one person respond so far. DXY, again, you want to keep an eye on this. I had a W formation shown. This was not the right view, but in any event, yeah, why don't I have this view shown? I have the wrong chart shown here. Is it this one? Maybe it's this one. I have too many DXY charts shown. Oh my god, I have so many charts on the DXY. My charts in general are super messy the way they're saved. I need to clean stuff up. Yeah, this is the W formation. So I had a technical target drawn at 113. What I need you to understand about the DXY that I've spoken about, it's one of the most critical things you can take a look at. The DXY, the dollar index, has a inverse relationship to the crypto markets. So if the DXY is going down, crypto's going up. If DXY is going up, crypto's going down. This is a parabola. We just spoke about parabolas in nauseam a little while ago. There's a tree. Look, this is what I would say. Oh, look at this. There is a tree being built with no branches. And when it falls, there's no branches to hold on to. And it's just going to cave in on itself. When this happens, crypto's going to go up. Okay? So it's interesting when you actually think about it, because what this chart is saying is that the dollar is gaining strength in value relative to other foreign currencies. but it's actually deappreciating and becoming worth less in its own native country. I mean, think about it. Because there were more dollars printed into existence, it's valued as less. It takes more. It's not that everything around us is costing more. It just takes more dollars because there's more dollars in circulation, and it becomes worth less, and you need more of it to buy things. So the dollar is becoming devalued in the native country of the United States of America, but it's been gaining value relative to foreign currencies. It's actually really interesting when you think about it. Just a couple other charts, and then I'm going to look at the comments here. Thank you to everyone who has been engaging in the comments here. One Harmony, we broke a very sharp line. This is the weekly. Broke a very sharp line of resistance. You can see touches all along here. We broke out. So what I want to see, let's get this on a 3-day. What I want to see is just continued moves up. Okay? Higher highs and higher lows. Again, that's the name of the game to reverse a trend. Remove the noise, remove the FUD about the $100 million on the bridge attack. Just look at the chart and it'll tell a story. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweet about the Holy Crypto Trinity all the time. By the way, I do plan to put an update video just on the Holy Crypto Trinity at some point. I just have to find the time for it. I have a few videos in mind. Steps to watch for. I think I came up with 4 steps, maybe 5 to watch for a true Bitcoin turnaround. The Holy Crypto Trinity, and then there was one other video idea I came up with. It's just finding the time to do it. Working full time. Lots of unexpected things have come up, which are more important than putting out videos as well. So you can see, I mean, this thing has been following based on, I don't know why this line is way down here. Maybe I chose a different time frame. But the point is, if you look at this if you look at this ascending line, we've just hit this line right in here. So nothing to be concerned about with Harmony at the moment. H-bar, same sort of thing. I mean, it has a very similar market structure when you look at them. I tweeted about this, right? So again, H-bar is bouncing off this ascending line of support right here. So we just want to see, again, it's very, not much to say here. We just want to see continued prices up, higher highs and higher lows. And then the ultimate test. Can we break, well, not can. When we break the descending line of resistance, maybe we back test it and then continue moving up, battling these red lines of resistance until we get some new all-time highs. Let's take a look at Mana, and then I'm going to get to some questions because that's all I had. I drew this chart out, again, very simple. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Broken resistance. We're now back testing it. This is on the daily. I want to see today close. We only have an hour and 8 minutes. I really want to see today close around 94, 95 cents. Okay? Because that tells me we've back tested the descending line of resistance, held it as support, which commonly happens. I always speak to this. We held it as support. Okay, we held it as support, and then we can continue up into this initial zone. I identified a zone between, I think it was like, looks like it's like $1.16, $1.17 to $1.46. So that's an initial zone of resistance. So, with that being said, let's get into the TA Q&A. Q&A TA? What do we got? Hey, thank you again to everybody who's here and everybody who's interacting. I do appreciate it because it takes a fair amount of time. Even though I'm on here like once a week, twice a week, it takes a fair amount of time to do all this stuff. Interesting question. Brian Dawkins. I think you've been on before. Brian D. By the way, speaking of the Eagles, thank you, Brian D, for dropping the comment. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. At Crypto Bull God. I tweeted out something on my story today. There was a funny photo that went around in a group chat earlier this morning that I put on. Did you know, since 1997, that Jennifer Lopez has more rings than Dallas Cowboys. Jennifer Lopez has been married 6. I couldn't believe this. Christ. Jennifer Lopez has been married 6 times since 1997. She is a shining example of stability. And that's not to be judgmental, but I mean, Christ, who gets married? I mean, yeah, I know it's 20 years, but who gets married that many times? 6 times. She was married 6 times. The Dallas Cowboys have 0 rings. So just throwing it out there. Yeah, I'm a Cowboy hater because I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan and I bleed green. You damn right. So why do I like Elliott waves? There's a couple reasons why I like Elliott waves. First off, it's a macro perspective formation within charts. It's using historical data. It's using data that has historically held true that we can use today. It's like any other chart formation. It's a macro perspective, and it's a beautiful structure that has played out many, many times before. And I think once I take a specific class on Elliott wave analysis and really learn it, because I have a really good general sense of it, but once I really learn Elliott wave analysis and learn all the intricacies of it, I'm sure I will appreciate it that much more and have even a more solid answer for you. But I love the symmetry of it, the beauty of it from a data perspective, and just being able to use past data and make a formation like that. That's the best way I can explain it. Thank you for the question. This is a good question, Holly. Besides BTC, which alt should we be paying attention to? So just to clarify, Bitcoin isn't an alt. I don't think you meant it that way. So I think what you mean is outside of Bitcoin, what altcoin should we pay attention to? So thank you for the question, Holly. Well, obviously Ethereum. Ethereum is the king altcoin. You want to pay attention to Ethereum. A couple other altcoins. First off, Polygon Matic has really been making some large moves and some big announcements with Disney. Really think that they're going to hit the top 10 before the end of the year. So pay attention to Matic, Chainlink, and Uniswap. Chainlink has in the past sort of led the price movements, and so I'm curious to see how Chainlink's performance looks relative to the rest of the altcoin market moving forward. I also used to tweet more frequently on a price relationship or price relativity chart between Chainlink and Uniswap, and I wish excuse me, I said this before, but I wish I had tweeted this out earlier, but Uniswap at that point, its USD value was very undervalued relative to Chainlink, and I meant to tweet out that it was a solid buy, and it's never financial advice, but based on the chart. Well, anyway, it's caught up in USD value. So I would watch Ethereum, Matic, Chainlink, Uniswap, and I also am biased towards the Holy Crypto Trinity. They've been extremely strong performers in my portfolio, and I think you want to keep an eye on HBAR, One, and Mana as well. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. I'll check that out. Can't promise you when I'll check it out. When I have time, maybe before I go to bed tonight, but thank you. I'll check it out at some point. Kevin, you have a good question. Why do you prefer Mana over Sand and PYR? I don't really have a good question for that, to be honest with you. In all fairness, I have not done a lot of research on Sand and PYR. So, I always keep it 100% with you guys. There is no one person in this space that knows every project. If I had the time... By the way, just wanted to say, this AC has been we've been flying the whole time. We're taking a flight from South Carolina all the way back to my house in the Northeast. This shit, we've been on a flight the whole time. My hands are cold. I need some soup or some chili. Jesus Christ. All right, I need to bundle up. Hold on, let me get a blanket here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. It's a little cold in here. We're in the middle of July in South Carolina. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me finish this happy hour up. Okay. Let's get back to the questions. So, Kevin, I gotta stay warm, man. Hypothermia is a bad thing. I don't want to be in the hospital. Abuela's getting discharged. I don't want to join her or take her place. Why do you prefer Mana over Sand and PYR? So, in all fairness, what I was saying is, I'm not super familiar with Sand and PYR, and if I wasn't working full time and I had more time to invest to become familiar with even more cryptocurrency projects, I would be. But I know that you're a frequent a person who comes on here and a supporter, and supporters are what actually got me interested in. Wow, look at that! What the hell was that? Wow, shit that happens on live stream. I know that you've been a supporter, and what I was saying is the community actually were the ones that turned me on to Harmony One, which was a great decision. I'm seeing this come up on the live stream right now. Quite funny, Microsoft. Quite funny. So what I think I need to do is I need to research SAND and PYR, and I need to answer that question for myself. But it's a very fair question that I don't have an answer to because I'm not familiar with those two projects. But thank you for asking the question because I will look into them. Well, Kevin, all I can say is I don't know. I wasn't even alive when the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. Well, that's not true, but it's been way too long, man. Jerry Jones, they need to get rid of that dude. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's too old and delusional. Um, I bleed green, my friend. Now, Ryan, your question is return of the H-bar mana chart. Jesus Christ, is it cold? Return of the H-bar mana chart. I don't really know what you're asking there. I'm sorry. I'm not really sure what... Return of the H-bar mana chart. I don't really know what the question is. I'm not quite sure. Does anybody else have any TA questions? Because if there are none... Sorry I can't help you out, Ryan. I don't really know what you're asking. But maybe you were having a drink this evening and that whiskey really hit you. I have no idea. But... my beer is out, and there's no other TA questions, so I think we're going to call it a day. By the way, before I sign off, I see people... No, don't drop off yet. Don't drop off yet. Tomorrow's going to be a little upper and lower chest action at the gym. A little ab action. Then I got a little work. A little work action going on. And going right back at the charts. So you may see me on Twitter. Actually, you'll see me on Twitter tomorrow morning. I'll try to put a few charts out, but... in all seriousness, I did want to thank you. I did want to thank you guys for tuning in. It does take a lot of work to put these things together. And if you really appreciate the content, make sure... I'm going to drop this. It's not that cold. Well, actually it is. Make sure that you spread awareness and carry the education forward and really get the word out to other people and share it. Because it's really a tough time to get engagement right now. But I really, really appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, thank you for tuning in for a happy hour. Hope you had something fun to drink and hope you enjoyed my commentary and that it made sense and added value to your own independent analysis. So until next time, everybody, spread awareness, have a drink, and carry the education forward. All right, we'll talk to you later.